Patterns help with the construction of words and their classifications together with an assigned connotation to each of them as an introduction to the base meaning that relies on the roots, which contains the fundamental radicals that integrate into them. Some patterns have been admitted by hearing from Arabs throughout history, while others have been decided on by grammarians to facilitate the assimilation of the rules of Arabic grammar, ending up with modern Standard Arabic that standardizes this language in order to avoid the chaos of dialects spoken by each Arabic country or a city within a country. For example, ru'ya, ru'ya, sight, vision, is the verbal noun of form 1 verb ra'a, ra'a, to see, from the triliteral root ra, hamza, ya. It doesn't follow any specific pattern, but has been accepted as a verbal noun. These kind of verbal nouns are associated with their form 1 verbs, which are derived from triliteral roots and have no defined patterns to follow, but are considered as linguistic heritage. They are called masadir sama'iyya. Masadir sama'iyya, the plural of masdar sama'i. Masdar sama'i, a verbal noun that was sanctioned by common usage and have the characteristic of being able to be used as a cognate accusative. Cognate accusative that emphasizes the action of its verb, as ra'a ru'ya, ra'a ru'yatan, he saw a vision. So here you have the verb ra'a with its verbal noun ru'ya as its object, ra'a ru'yatan. It puts accent on its verb and is most often indefinite and accusative with double fatha, fatha tanween. Sami'a sama'an, sami'a sama'an, the verb sami'a, to hear, sama'an, hearing. So he was all ears, let's say. Alright? Jalasa julusan, jalasa julusan, he sat, let's say, on his chair like a king. Or you can come up with another translation. It gives the verb special importance. However, grammarians decided to sort these random patterns by concepts. As for verbal nouns that follow the pattern fi'ala, fi'ala, will suggest the name of professions, such as tijara, tijara, commerce, from the verb tajara, tajara. It means to trade. So you put the ta and the jim and the ra into the pattern fi'ala. So we have the kasra that follows the first radical and an alif that follows the second radical within its fatha, and we have the tied ta marbuta toward the end of this pattern. So the fundamental radicals are just the 3 letters. Ta, jim, ra. The rest belongs to the pattern. فعالة. صناعة. صناعة. صناعة, industry, from the verb صنع. صنع, to manufacture. And زراعة. زراعة, from the verb زرع. زرع, to sow, to plant. So زراعة means agriculture. Agriculture. So they are all from triliteral root verbs. Form 1. The pattern فعل. فعل. We have a dhamma that follows the first radical, and the sukun that follows the second, and the fatha that follows the third, plus the ta marbuta, the tied ta. فعل refers to colors as حمرة. حمرة, redness, from the verb حمرة that rhymes with فعل. حمرة. زرقة. زرقة, blueness, from زرقة. زرقة. And خضرة. خضرة, which means greenness, or vegetables, or green plants. You may use خضرة for all of them. From the verb خضرة. خضرة. The pattern فعلان. فعلان, when you extend the third radical, the lam. فعلان. فعلان, ending with the silenced noon. فعلان. So you have the alif and the noon that are added to the 3 radicals. Implies agitation, like طيران. طيران, aviation, from the verb طار. طار. So aviation, flight, flying. دوران. دوران, from the verb دار. دار, hollow verb, دار, meaning rotation, spinning, twirling, whirling. خفقان. خفقان, rhyming with فعلان. خفقان, palpitation. So there is it's a kind of agitation. خفقان. خفقان القلب. So here, it's here where you have the palpitation. خفقان. The pattern فعل. فعل. So the last radical is silenced. فعل. Refers to defects. Body defects mostly. Like عمى. عمى, ending with a shortened alif. Alif مقصورة. So there is an implied sukun on it. So عمى. عمى, blindness, from the verb عمي, to be or become blind. عمي. عمي. عمى is its verbal noun. عرج. عرج, limping. And حاول حاول from the verb حاول to be cross-eyed حاول. So whatever follows this pattern will indicate defects. The pattern فعال here, the first radical is followed by a Dhamma, fu, and there is an alif, the long vowel alif that follows the second radical, fu'al, fu'al, and the last radical is silenced, fu'al. So you know your long vowels, the waw and alif and ya, known as y, standing for the three long vowels. Fu'al, su'al, kaf, su'al, kaf. Zukam, zukam, cold, flu. So to catch a cold or the flu. Zukam. And suda', following the pattern fu'al, suda', headache, headache. And duwar, duwar, duwar means dizziness, dizziness. As we said, dawaran, rotation, duwar, dizziness. See how the patterns are helpful? And the pattern fu'ul, fu'ul. Here, the second radical is followed by a Dhamma and a long vowel, wow. Since you already know that, that's always the case. A long vowel fatha, a long vowel alif has to be preceded by a fatha, ya by a kasra, and the waw by a Dhamma. So you have fu'ul, fu'ul. Implies movement, movement, like julus, julus, from the verb jalasa. It's sitting, sitting. Wuquf, wuquf, standing, from the verb waqafa. Nuzul, nuzul, from the verb nazala. Nuzul, descending. Su'ud, su'ud, ascending. And ubur, ubur, crossing. Or going across a bridge or passing through. And the pattern fa'il, fa'il. So here we have the second radical that is followed by the long vowel ya, that has to be preceded by the short vowel kasra. Fa'il, fa'il refers to sound or motion. Like rahil, rahil, leaving, departing. So you depart somewhere or you leave the place. Roaring, roaring, za'ir, fa'il, za'ir. Awil, awil, weeping, awil. All these patterns that stand for triliteral verbal nouns are based on triliteral root verbs and can both be part of the same sentence for strong impact. So what's fascinating is how the meaning is encoded in the structure of the word. and how that structure is relational. That's just amazing. That's it for today. Stay safe. See you later. إلى اللقاء.